I can feel my guess you're back. Are you gonna tell me where you went? All the messages I sent with no reply. It's like that. You're just gonna walk into my room. I hate how you assume there will always be a place for you. By my side, day or night. You know that it's killing me. Why do you always leave? It's not right. We don't fight, but I know what you've been through. I'll take the pleasure and the pain, the sorrows in your brain, 'cause I know you're on the run. I'll take the pleasure and the pain, your secrets to my grave, 'cause you are the only one. Take pleasure in the pain, the sorrows in your brain, 'cause I know you're on the run. I'll take pleasure in the pain, your secrets to my grave, 'cause you are the only one. I'll take pleasure in the pain. I guess you're back. Are you gonna tell me where you went? All the messages I sent with no reply. It's like that. You're just gonna walk into my room. I hate how you assume there will always be a place for you. By my side, day or night. You know that it's killing me. Why do you always leave? It's not right. We don't fight, but I know what you've been through. I'll take pleasure and pain, the sorrows in your brain, 'cause I know you're on the run. I'll take the pleasure and the pain, your secrets to my grave, 'cause you are the only one. I'll take pleasure in the pain. I'll take pleasure in the pain, the sorrows in your brain, 'cause I know you're on the run. I'll take pleasure in the pain, your secrets to my grave, 'cause you are the
I can see.
chase all my dreams. Will you come with me tonight? Be my firefly, my firefly, my firefly tonight. Come with me, give me a light, oh, give me a light, give me a light, oh, I can see. Give me a light, oh, give me a light, give me a light, oh, so I can see. Pains, I feel alive. Maybe all I need is time to find the right words. I'm a painter, in the sky to breathe. I reach so high for peace. Color blue shades of purple. My paintbrush things out.
Malaysia Film Award was initiated and organized by the Selangor and Central Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association as a platform where print excellence is formally appreciated, recognized and applauded. We aim to bring the Malaysia Print Award to be benchmark of excellence for the print-related industry in Malaysia, accepted industry international for its professional integrity and print standards.
Nevertheless, let us adapt to these changes as we see as an opportunity for all. The industry is changing and is forever going to be better if we are able to secure our business model to the most efficient level. LGM has also announced that starting from 1st of June 2018, our GST will be zero rated. The migration back to SST will take some time, but allowing other business owners to claim back their input tax.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ASEAN Printing Forum Online 2020. My name is Jim Lau. I'll be your host and MC today. On behalf of Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association, I would like to welcome you all to ASEAN Printing Forum 2020, which this year we are doing it online due to the pandemic. It's always a pleasure to have all of you from different countries in ASEAN to join us on this yearly event. I would also like to express my utmost gratitude to all the country speakers today on sharing their knowledge and country report. Last but not least, I would like to thank Sansing Prima Sendirian Berhad on sponsoring this event. Now, please let me run through today's program. As you can see from the screen, we have Peter Chan, the President of SFTC PPA, to deliver his opening speech. After that, we'll move to official launch. And then we have Mr. Chi of Sansing Prima International Group, our main sponsor, to deliver his speech. Followed by the first speaker from Indonesia, Mr. Ahmad Mughira Nuhani. And then the speaker from Thailand. The third speaker will be from Brunei. And then from Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and finally, the last speaker, Ms. Josephine Law from Singapore. Now, without further ado, let me invite the President of SFTC PPA, Mr. Peter Chan, to deliver his opening speech. Mr. Peter Chan, over to you. Thank you.
A very good morning to our supportive guest, Mr. Chi Xiao Yuan, Chairman of Sansing Group, Mr. Chow, Eric Chow, General Manager of Sansing Prima Sendirian Berhad. They are also our sponsor for today's ASEAN Printing Forum Online Malaysia 2020. To our honorable country speakers of ASEAN countries, Madam Josephine Lau, President of Print and Media Association Singapore, Bapak Ahmad Mughira Nuhani, President of Persatuan Perusahaan Agrafika Indonesia, PPGI, and Indonesia Print Media Association, Mr. Pong Tira, President of the Thai Printing Association, Attorney Dominado de Burhain, President of Philippine Printing Technical Foundation Incorporated, PPTF, Mr. Tony Ngo, Vice President of Vietnam Printing Association, Mr. Sok Riti, President of Cambodia Book Publishers Association, Encik Muhammad Nazrin bin Haji Amin, Print Plus Sendirian Berhad of Brunei, Mr. Lin Ong, Director of Spectrum Printing House, Myanmar, Mr. Kantong, Sabang Printing Press of Laos, members of the Trade Association, friends from the media, and last but not least, my fellow printers and the viewers who are watching us all around the ASEAN region today. I am Peter Chan, as the President of the Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association of Malaysia, SFTCPPA. We would like to extend our highest appreciation to all of you participating in the event today. ASEAN Printing Forum Online, hosted by Malaysia this year 2020. It is a great honor for Malaysia this year to host this great event. This forum started back in 2017, initiated at Philippines, then moved on to Singapore in 2018, and hosted by Thailand last year at 2019, and today led by us as FTCPPA Malaysia in 2020. Unfortunately, amid of the pandemic COVID-19, we have to run this event online to follow the SOP set by our ministry. We realized that ASEAN Printing Forum is essential for sharing information and experience among our fellow members of ASEAN printers, and therefore should be carried on, should not be cancelled. ASEAN has a great opportunity to attract many foreign investors, as many of us are growing nation, developing nation, with a staggering population of more than 630 million people and offering opportunities of a huge combined market of US $2.6 trillion. One of the example, like Vietnam, has successful growth with high 7 to 10% of GDP growth annually. The stability of ASEAN managed to invite many spillover opportunities from US-China trade war. I believe the opportunity are still plenty out there for us. Just a matter of questions whether are we up for it. Are we fit and well equipped for the job? Are we eco-friendly and in line with the Sustainable Development Goals? This is why ASEAN Printing Forum is essential to provide an open platform for all our members to monitor and guide their operations to the standards. ASEAN Printing Forum has also created close bonding among our fellow ASEAN Printing Associations members. This allows us to collaborate for any upcoming opportunities for future joint ventures. I understand that there are many worrying businessmen out there trying to survive through these hard times. Please don't lose hope and have faith. Today's forum, you will benefit to get to know how a few successful print companies managed to go through hardship during the pandemic COVID-19. Without further ado, we hope that you will find solutions and direction that we are offering here today at our forum. We wish you all the best and good luck with the upcoming opportunities or challenges. Stay strong, stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Chan. Please stay where you are. Now we have our official launch ceremony. Please let me invite Mr. IJT, the organizing chairman of Malaysian Print Awards 2021, and also Mr. Eric, General Manager of Sansing Prima Sdn Bhd, on stage. Now, gentlemen, on your cue, Mr. Eric. Yep. All right, gentlemen, please put your palm on the screen. Please put your palm on the screen. On my count to 3, push the button to officiate the opening ceremony of ASEAN Printing Forum 2020. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. For your information, this is the first time that we are doing it online for this forum. As the tagline says, the new normal. I suppose the same goes to all the printers and also other businesses. We have practiced the new normal under these circumstances and tried different ways to survive or even strike new heights. The country speakers will share on their thoughts on this later. Now, please join me to welcome Mr. Chi, the founder and chairman of Sansing Prima International Group, for his online speech.
Hello, good morning, 大家好。 尊敬的吉隆坡及许兰儿中华印务商工会陈耀威会长，尊敬的东盟各国印刷协会会长，各位印刷界的精英翘楚，大家好。很荣幸受吉隆坡及许兰儿中华印务商工会陈耀威会长的邀请，参加2020年东盟印刷论坛马来西亚站，能与在座的各位印刷界精英翘楚相聚在线上，感谢吉隆坡及许兰儿中华印务商工会给我这次珍贵的机会，让我们相互了解，畅谈声音，凝聚力量，共谋发展。今年由于新冠肺炎 COVID-19 疫情全球爆发，给人民生命安全和身体健康带来了巨大的威胁，给全球公共卫生安全带来了巨大的挑战，也给全球经济造成了巨大的动荡，同时给我们的印刷包装行业也带来了很大的影响。今天我们借此机会，共同商讨、共同分享、共同应对经济的冲击，携手共度难关。三信国际集团于2005年在泰国创立，是一家专业为印刷包装厂商策划、投资和解决方案的系统服务商，即设备选型、预算成本、生产工艺、制作流程、安装、调试、培训、维护、保养维修、零配件以及各种原材料供应的一站式一条龙的服务集团公司。集团在中国专门设有采购检验中心，在东南亚的泰国、印尼、马来西亚、越南、菲律宾等都设有销售公司和专业的服务团队，专门为该地区的印刷包装厂商提供服务，是中国制造商与终端厂家的桥梁和纽带。从设备制造领域来看，近年来中国印刷包装业更具有竞争力和优势，主要有以下几点：第一，自动化、智能化、数字化的程度越来越高。中国目前已成为了浙江、广东、河北3大印机制造产业基地，实力相当雄厚。第二，印刷包装后导工业越来越完善，印后技术的更新覆盖、覆膜、谱合、切纸、制盒、磨切、烫金、UV、表纸等等，每年都有更新产品面世。两项设备也越来越得到认可。第三，跨界技术应用趋势成熟，例如3D 直印技术、数码冷烫、光学防伪、图像检测等等技术。各种创新技术在跨界应用，为印刷包装制造带来了新的学艺，呈现出良性发展的趋势。第四，制造流程和制造工艺有了明显的提升。随着中国制造2025的不断推进，中国机械制造 已从简单粗糙变成华丽转型，在机械品质、设计、功能等方面不定的转型升级，已出现了一批中国制造的优秀品牌，有些甚至已经成为国际的零星品牌企业。第五，出口业务持续上涨。2019年，中国印刷机械器材出口为24.59亿美元，同比增长了12.6%。由此可见，中国的印刷制造能力正在越来越多地得到了世界同行的认可。今年，由于一场突来的疫情，使全球的经济受到了严重的打击，人民的生活方式和消费观念发生了巨大的变化，移动互联网更加普及和运用，网络购物和网上服务飞速发展，跨境电商以及快递物流业迅速崛起，这给我们的投资提供了方向性的信息。投资回报率的预算也更为重要。投资中国的包装设备应该是性价比最高的。我期望东南亚印刷联盟大力提倡各国印刷工厂使用中国设备，为企业降低投资风险，创造更高的效率。海内存知己，天涯若比邻。支持2020东盟印刷论坛开幕之际，我相信这是整个东盟10国乃至南亚等国家的印刷包装行业的大盛会，也是一个具有里程碑意义的盛会。随着本届2020东盟印刷论坛的成功举办，将必对整个东盟地区印刷包装产业产生重大而深远的影响，为东盟地区的印刷包装产业升级注入新的活力，也将为在座的各位带来更多的发展机会。最后，我祝大家身体健康，万事如意。谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Mr. Chi, for being the main sponsor of the event. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Peter Chan and Mr. Eric, the General Manager of Sansing Prima Sdn Bhd, to receive a token of appreciation on behalf of Mr. Chi. Mr. Peter. Thank you very much once again to Sansing Prima International Group for your generosity on sponsoring today's event. Thank you very much. Without further ado, now let me welcome the first speaker of the day, Baba Ahmad Muhira Nuhani, the President of Indonesia Print Media Association, for his country report.
Good morning.
Good morning, Baba Ahmad Muhira Nuhani. You may proceed for your presentation. Thank you.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Hello?
we can.
Okay, now it's normal?
Yes, please proceed. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Next slide, please. As we know, the condition at the pandemic COVID-19 in Indonesia also has the same problem with other country. I can tell that from the data from the Ministry of Industry, 70% of offset printing company in Indonesia has shut down to the operation due to the COVID-19. 30% of the company is still running, especially if they print for newspaper and everything like that, but only 50% capacity or less, since they have to perform their operation with limit people. School books order has stopped from March due to the closing down to the school. Retail market also stopped due to the scale of social restriction in most cities, like the lockdown and something like that, starting this April. Many companies have a problem with cash flow due to the declining of orders. Next, please. But there's some opportunities during the COVID-19. The impact from COVID lockdown, many people start businesses from their home. Some digital printing companies get advantage from producing label and packaging for home industry, with selling their product online or by social media. And by the end of this December 2020, the government will have election for more than 200 agencies, electing mayor and governor in Indonesia. There will be about 170 million people, so we will print about 170 million ballot paper. Next, please. Because of the pandemic, government working together with the association of the industry, they gave some incentive for industry. At the moment, the government reducing the price for electricity bill for industry by waiving the minimum payment. So industry just pay whatever they use, they pay the electricity. Before, even though we don't use the electricity, we have to pay for several minimum amount of billing. And the government also released all the salaries tax-free for all employee, all level. And also the worker get subsidy from the government. All employee, they get monthly money from the government, about 600,000 rupiah. So it's about $40 a month, but it's pretty enough. The government also lowering the loan interest rate, and the company can postpone the payment installment for credit in state-owned bank for 6 months up to 1 year. And the latest news is now the newsprint paper, the sales tax becoming zero. Next. As the organization in 2020, in order to fulfill the standard for human resources in industry, Indonesian government required all the workers to have competency certification for the next year or two. Indonesia Print Media Association has already have national standard of competency registered in Ministry of Human Resources Republic Indonesia. So even though on the pandemic, we still keep our program running, preparing the standard competency for printing employee. Next year, the organization will have a certification body, which we name it Lembaga Sertifikasi Profesi Grafika, or the Bureau of Graphics Profession Certification. So by 2021, we expected the certification of printer operator will be starting. Next. What next? We assume the economic condition in Indonesia will be normal within 12 months from now. Printing business will be normal much more further, perhaps within 24 months. Many printing shops has closed down before and during pandemic. Before pandemic itself, printing already has lot of problem and a lot of difficulties. It caused a lot of financial institutions, especially bank, now has put printing business in, they categorized in sunset businesses. Okay, next. This is Indonesia. I think this is gonna be it about my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak Ahmad Muhira Nuhani. Please don't leave first. Let me invite Mr. Peter Chan, the President of SFTCPPA, to come on stage to present a token of appreciation. Mr. Peter Chan. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a plug too. So we will carry it to you later. Thank you very much.
Alright,
Once again, Bapak Ahmad Muhira Nuhani, stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have the second speaker of the day, Mr. Pongtira from Thailand. Mr. Pongtira is also the president of the Thai Printing Association. Mr. Pongtira, over to you. Thank you.
สวัสดีครับ Good morning from Bangkok, Thailand. Dear Mr. Peter Chan, President of the Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Press Association, Mr. Chi Siroyen from Sansing International Group, and Pongtira Patanaphirade, President of the Thai Printing Association. It's my great pleasure to speak at the ASEAN Printing Forum hosted by Malaysia. This year, under the current pandemic crisis, COVID-19, so we have to do it. And we are in a very difficult time for all of us. And I hope that everyone can get through this pandemic together. Next slide, please. I would like to first begin with the situation in Thailand regarding the COVID-19. Right now, Thailand has the total case of 3,736, and we have just 5 new cases and 59 deaths. So overall, I think that Thailand is doing pretty good at the moment in terms of controlling the new case and controlling the spread in Thailand. Right now, the Thai government requires that everyone who enters Thailand has to be quarantined for 14 days under the state quarantine policy. So now we have 788 in the quarantine, and we expect to expand that to promoting more time. Next slide, please. Thailand is still adapting to the COVID era and still strict social distancing rule as business activity pick ups. We are successful in controlling to the pandemic right now, but we still have to maintain those strategies to control it. So if you look at the result, that somehow damage the economy of the country, although we did a pretty good job in terms of controlling such a result, because we have to cross the border and to do restrict the business and also trade in Thailand. So if we have to look in each category, beginner with agriculture, you can see that in the first and the second quarter of 2020, it reduced drastically to minus about almost 10%. But right now, it's moving a good way to 3.2%. Manufacturing is the worst. They also got a strong impact of about 14% and service about 12.3%. For the graph in the bottom left, you can see the bottoming out in May when Thailand first started to ease lockdown measures. The manufacturing production index continued to pick up for the third month in August. The service production also picked up recently, but on a softer note. Looking ahead, further easing of lockdown measures stimulate fiscal and monetary policies, and optimistic vaccine news will lift consumer confidence and encourage spending. So printing and packaging will got an order to serve more consumption. Next slide, please. For modern trade, retail sales index continue in the second because of the lockdown, temporary closure of department store and weak purchasing power. However, the lockdown and work from home policy have led to a spike in online shopping. The retail sale in the and has been a steady increase in order through several channels. For example, so printing and packaging for delivery are increased. People in Thailand use more online shopping and learn how to use an application to shop via mobile. So you can see that the growth on online sales increased very much. Next slide, please. The department store right now is focusing on the growing online sale. The new normal triggered by 19 has given e-commerce an enormous boost, pushing 2020 online sales jump by 47% this year. By Thai, the B2B e-commerce segment is the largest with a value and followed by B2C and B2G. Growth in the B2C segment is largely attributed to the lockdown and work from home trend, which has led to greater spending online. So printing and packaging for delivery also increased. Next slide, please. In order to support the online platform, Government of Thailand now focusing on the four segments in the e-commerce landscape, which is first to promote using a marketing tool. It takes a good strategy and time to build brand recognition. They include developing and executing strategic plan for advertising and promotion, and good customer manage to promote or publicize the brand. These are all critical elements to build a successful brand. Therefore, the choice of marketing tool is important for the manufacturer. So commercial printing is one of the print media that use a lot. This is good for the printing industry. The second one is to do an e-commerce platform and social platform that people can order and buy product right. These are home to a large number of buyers and sellers, which allow platform operator to track consumer behavior and preference. Operator can then use this information to produce private brands, but are able to meet consumer needs. The most popular sales channel in Thailand is Line, Facebook, and Instagram. E-marketplace is Lazada, Shopee, AliExpress, Amazon. So now we have a lot of new SME entrepreneurs that have to print commercial printing media, labels, and packaging for their project. And the third one is to have a reliable and strong payment gateway system to make sure that the transfer of money over the internet is reliable and safe for everyone. The payment cashless system via bank and private service provided in Thailand divided into two platforms, the payment gateway and e-wallet. And finally, the logistics and fulfillment have to be established in order to fulfill the needs of people in this crisis time. Make sure that they can get the product in time. These four segments that the Thai government has is to support the e-commerce, and once the e-commerce landscape platform is established, there will be demand for printing and packaging to be used because everything needs to be advertising and transport via logistics. And in order to do that, they need to use a packaging both outside and inside to protect the goods during the transportation. So that is quite the strong good impact on the packaging. On the other hand, for the payment gateway, when people are now using the e-wallet and online payment, so the traditional payment that require transaction document is decreasing rapidly. For instance, the checkbook and the form that you have to fill to pay editing is reduced drastically to the paperless transaction. Next slide, please. The increase in online shopping activity has created also an opportunity for delivering company. You can see that during the lockdown, the traditional trade and modern trade are reduced by about 5%, which is why online shopping increased by about 10%. As a result, that's the packaging is also grown as well in support live shopping. I think Thailand is to a new normal way people learn how to use an online and application shopping and do online shopping. Next, please. Next, I would like to talk about the change in industrial output by sector between the printing and packaging industry compared to other industry. You can see the blue line that the printing and packaging industry during the COVID-19 situation reduced about 10 to 15% and has been stable. When we compare to other industry, we think that we are about average. Next slide, please. If we compare the service industry, so we can see that the change in service production index by sector, especially accommodation and food service, has been hit by the COVID-19. So in this section, the printing and packaging is doing quite better than other service industry. By the way, the demand of ready-to-eat box with a variation design and was ordered in a large number to meet the market needs. Next, please. So in this situation, the government tried to issue a lot of relief measures to available the impact of COVID-19, try to help in 3 ways. First, introduce a soft loan to help SME and business to stay alive, especially the service in this period of time, to make sure that they have enough liquidity to survive. The second one is to promote lending by using cash transfer and expenditure reduction, so the government actually give and distribute cash to people and subsidize them in several pockets to help with the promoting a local consumption in countries such as the traveling campaign that they have to subsidize about 40% of domestic travel. Also about daily life expending, they help with 50% about daily consumption and about 300 baht per day. And finally, the government help by using tax deduction. For instance, right now, people can spend up to 30,000 baht, and they can use the amount of spending to use as the deduction for their income tax. And this includes the buying of book and magazine and the printing business as well. The key tool that government use right now is to help household to promote private consumption and to help the business to help them to a private investment to help boost the GDP and economy of Thailand. Next slide, please. This slide is the detail of the 3 tools that the Thai government is using right now. Due to limited time, I will skip this detail. Next, please. Next slide, please. Now, I would like to talk about the Thailand printing industry trend focus, the new normal reading through change and digital transformation. Thailand is located in the center of Southeast Asia with a population of 70 million people. We are second nominal GDP in this region after Indonesia. The printing and packaging of Thai industry have grown in line with consumption and GDP. We have 5,845 printing and packaging company, with a small size 50%, medium size is 30%, and large size about 20%. There are 150,000 workforce in printing industry. Next, please. We have the Thai Printing Association to be a center of cooperation from owner partnership and any company in the printing business. The Thai Printing Association was in 1946. Now it is 74 years old. The objective of Thai Printing Association is to strengthen the relationship and to cooperate in improving the technique and knowledge toward new trends of technology in printing and packaging process that may lead to enlarge the printing industry in Thailand. For this slide, if we look to focus on the printing and packaging in Thailand right now, the total value of corrugated and solid fiber packaging is the biggest market in the printing industry, which meant the situation right now that are doing more online buying, so carton and flexible packaging and labels are also growing. Next slide, please. Zoom into Thailand top 5 products. You can see the top 5 spending on printing mainly focus on the packaging and logistics and transportation of goods. So we should very much in this situation right now. Apart from that, by end use from now to 2024, you can see some of the commercial printing that still survive at the moment. For example, book printing is still doing pretty okay. For the newspaper and magazine, there are change to minus of graph because of the impact of digital media. Another pillars that's still growing are label, metal packaging, cartons, flexible packaging, and corrugated. So if you look into the growth of each one by the printing process, you can see that the digital inkjet is growth amount almost 15. Digital electrophotography is 5. followed by flexo and offset. By the way, chip-fed offset printing is the largest process type in Thailand. The situation right now, Thailand is the exporter of food and fruit to the world. During the COVID-19 pandemic, people in many countries really need a canned food and ready-to-eat frozen food to survive in special distance rule. So that's why the metal packaging and labels and flexible packaging growing a lot this year. Next, please. Thai government policy has a strategy to be the kitchen of the world. We have a lot of food and we export a lot of food during this time of COVID-19. We do export a lot of food to other countries to help them especially canned food and ready-to-eat food. So we should have an effect on the food packaging as well. If you look at food packaging right now, you can see that the share of food packaging about 34% is flexible plastic and 22 are brick carton and 28 the other and metal food can. Next one. Next, please. This is also applied to beverage packaging as well, that we do a lot of beverage and consumer, a lot of beverage. The volume of beverage packaging we use in glass bottle 36% and PET bottle about 35% and 17% is a metal beverage can. Next, please. The printing business is in the disruption era right now, especially COVID-19 is the stimulus to rapidly change this year. And you can see that, next slide, please. You can see that the situation of a disruption in the printing industry curve have been being a long time ago, but accelerated so fast in the exponential curve after 19. They are accelerated a lot toward the end of the curve. Next slide, please. So the printing market driver in the future are economic, cost of production and distribution. We have to consider the consumption and investment, for example, during the COVID-19 situation, so that it is strong impact on the printing and packaging as well. Globalization right now is different from globalization 10 years ago. We have an impact on the trade war between China and America, and people are thinking about security such as technology security and food security. People tend to move their production back to their own country and change to other country where they are more secure to their nation. Changing the demographic. This is mainly about aging society in Thailand. You can see that we have to focus more on the aging society, how and what people need. Also focus on changing end user preference, changing the behavior of people, how they use printing, what they are lifestyle, how they consume a new media channel, competition they use. So they have to look into the new channel media online instead of the traditional media. Of course, about the environment sustainability impact, technology, and finally about the impact on print, such as the distribution cost, how to make a low cost for the printing. Next slide, please. Print in 2020. We're living in a digital and connected world. Right now, it's about connecting and sharing, and end user communication preference and changing. TV viewing is declining and newspaper reading is declining in regions. We are in a cashless and paperless society, and while the online application for Facebook, Twitter, Line, and application has been increasing a lot of right now, people can watch everything online on their own place and their own time and their own preference. This is the new normal of digitalization right now. So print must change to fit in, and print must demonstrate that it can pay for itself. Under the new era, under the new cost, that can suit the people needs and match people demand. Next, please. So finally, I would like to make an announcement that we will have a print International Bangkok from the 20 to 25 of September next year in Thailand. So will be an exhibition focusing on the defining packaging in Thailand. Next, please. And now we also have the 14 Typing Award. This is the same to promote the printing quality in Thailand by giving the award to the best printer and company. Final slide. Next, please. Thank you very much for your time. I hope that the information I provide is beneficial to you and that we have a printing community in Southeast Asia that will survive this difficult better. And as we believe that right now, printing has to change within the new era. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pongtira. Thank you for such detailed and comprehensive presentation. Now, before you leave, let me invite Mr. Peter Chan on stage to present a token of appreciation. Thank you once again, Mr. Pongtira.
Thank you very much.
We credit to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the third speaker of the day, Mr. Muhammad Nazrin from Brunei. Mr. Muhammad Nazrin, over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all distinguished members of ASEAN Printing Association. Let me introduce myself. I am Muhammad Nazrin bin Haji Amin, representative from Brunei Darussalam, Print Plus Sdn Bhd. First of all, on behalf of Brunei Printing, Print Plus Sdn Bhd, we would like to thank the Federal Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association for hosting for the today ASEAN Printing Forum Online, hosted by Malaysia 2020 amid to the pandemic COVID-19. This new norm offers a moment to reflect on our purpose and consider the challenges that lies ahead. Due to the pandemic COVID-19, the digital revolution has transformed our lives and societies with unprecedented speed and scale, delivering immense opportunities as well as daunting challenges. New technologies can make significant contribution to realizing sustainability development goals, but we cannot take positive outcome for granted. Next slide. Before I talk further on the topic for today's presentation, I would like to give an introduction of Islam. Brunei is located in the island of Borneo, with an estimated of 459,500 people. As you can see here, Brunei has 4 districts, and Print Plus is located in the Brunei Muara district. The image on the right screen illustrates a glance of our country, Brunei Darussalam. Next slide. As you all are aware of the pandemic situation today that hit countries all around the world, including our Brunei Darussalam, the first COVID-19 case in Brunei was reported on the 9th March 2020, and it reached the pandemic peak spread, reaching up to 115 cases on the 27th March 2020. Next slide. During the peak number of cases in Brunei, the Ministry of Health ensured that all the preventive and control measures were undertaken, where mass gathering was discouraged, public restaurant was closed, schools also closed, public area and events were closed and cancelled, and to practice social and physical distancing. And with the measure taken by our government and social responsibilities of the public, the last transmission case in Brunei was on the 6th May 2020. Until now, we have a total confirmed cases of 148 and of 3 deaths. We still have 2 imported cases. The situation in Brunei today are in control, but we still practice social responsibility during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. One of the control measures undertaken by the government of Brunei was introducing the use of Bru Health apps, where it was compulsory for all public to use as a contact tracing app during this pandemic. So this is where we can see the use of digital transformation take part. Next slides. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Brunei printing industry faced a few challenges as many events has been cancelled. The demand in printing of national events material on hold. Brunei border were closed until now in order to prevent from further spreading of COVID-19. And this also affects our preventive maintenance and suppliers, which we usually outsourced from outside country. The other challenges we face was the restriction and SOP as the new norm set by the government, Brunei government, for example, on the minimizing staff workplace, where we were encouraged to work from home. That also affects the printing process. We also face difficulties in bringing our specialized expertise to commission and maintain some of the printing machines and supply the materials needed due to the restriction of 14 days quarantine requirements set by the government. These challenges caused the slowing down of our investment planning and process. Next slide. As you all remembered, during the 2019 ASEAN Printing Forum in Thailand, we were a government printing department known as JPK. And it was planned for JPK to be corporatized as Print Plus Sdn Bhd on 1st of April 2020. However, due to the high peak of COVID-19 outbreak, the corporatization was postponed to 1st of July 2020. As of 1st of July 2020, we introduced Print Plus Sdn Bhd, which is a corporate entity-owned subsidiary of the Darussalam asset, Sdn Bhd, as a major turning point of Brunei printing sector, with the revitalization of the government printing department with over 35 years of experiencing in the industry. Print Plus become a full-service commercial printing company envisioned to accommodate both local and regional printing needs. Next slide. So this is our milestone as Print Plus Sdn Bhd. So as you can see, in April 2020, there were a lot of initiatives done with Print Plus. For example, one of it, SOP renewal, the review of the SOP, new process flow was identified and pilot run as a corporate entity. On May 2020, improving production flow process with data analysis. And the next month of the June 2020, we started our product development and color management to improve quality and consistency of our product. On July 2020 is where Print Plus go live as to provide full commercial printing services. We also initiated Project Drive-Thru as a safety measure during the COVID-19. On August 20, research development on new product range and introduce value-added services such as a design house, where people started to do online business. So we cater graphic design, to this. On September 2020, there were also HR development, as we had Lean Six Sigma training for management, leadership training, and investment training. As of October 2020, we initiative to engage more potential clients during this hard time as to understand the market needs. Next slide. As a new norm on moving forward, Brunei initiate the BCP, Business Continuity Plan, throughout the whole business, working government as to follow the control measures set the government. Print Plus took the initiative to introduce drive-through method of collecting as practice research after many product development was made to targeted product are used for religious practice in homes as for contributing back to the society and the well-being of Brunei citizens. Other than that, our Brunei border are still closed for certain time. We also took the advantage of digital transformation in uplifting skills. Next. The new norm also gives the printing industry to diversify on existing product range and to accommodate printing needs and services within Brunei, for example, posters for safety measures from the Ministry of Health, business where demand of design advertising and printed brochure for restaurant. Due to this, it creates an increased print on demand where utilization of digital printing during this time are high, where investment being planned for additional capacity on digital printing is the way forward. Lastly, with the new norm, the digital transformation from physical face-to-face interaction to digital era like online method of, for example, when order placing for clients, we do it online. As artwork approval for them to print further is through online, that saves time. Also to do online payment. Also online meeting, especially with outside supplier, which makes the process easier and adaptable at this current time. Next slide. So this is Print Plus Sunan Berhad. As I can share you the for further information inquiries. So to conclude my presentation for today, Print Plus would like to extend our highest appreciation to all ASEAN Printing members. Thank you.
Much, Mr. Muhammad Nazrin. Thank you for your detailed presentation. Now, before you leave, let me invite Mr. Peter Chan on stage to present a token of appreciation. Mr. Peter. This will be carried to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Muhammad Nazrin.
Thank you.
Now, our next speaker is none other than the homegrown, handsome, charismatic Mr. President of SFTCPPA, Mr. Peter Chan. Mr. Peter Chan, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are enjoying the presentation has been shown to you all so far by Indonesia, Thailand, and Brunei. Without further ado, let me start my presentation today. Malaysia Printing Industry Outlook and Trend 2020, the new normal leading through change, digital transformation. Next. Let me run a quick brief introduction of our printing association, the Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association, established in 1947 before Malaya gained independent status. The Selangor Chinese Printing Presses Association was the first printing association formed by the group of dedicated printers with the aim to form an entity to representation to the fellow printers, resolving issues, developing networking. In the early days, printing was relatively new in Malaya. By sharing knowledge and pooling support and resources together, the association flourished, later changed to its present name, the Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association, SFTCPPA, being one of the oldest trade associations in Malaysia. Today, SFTCPPA, led by a group of visionary print owners, constantly providing seminars, trips, events to improve our print industry, awareness, building better fellowship. SFTCPPA also organized Malaysia Print Awards for all Malaysian printers and art students to submit their artwork to the challenge. SFTCPPA also affiliated with the Associated Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, ACCCIM, working together under one big umbrella over 100,000 establishments and corporations in Malaysia to propel our national economy to a greater height. Let me share here Malaysia Economic Outlook of 2020. Well, I believe that the situation of Malaysia has none other fantastic comparing to our peer Asian countries, as all of us are facing pandemic COVID-19, COVID-2019. Ever since the global financial crisis in 2009, it's first time that Malaysia quarterly GDP has contracted to a steep fall of 17.1% in Q2 2020 due to COVID-19 control measures in the form of lockdowns and movement control. And also, this is also due to the drastic drop of oil prices end of last year. As you know, Malaysia is an oil producing country. Being the fourth largest economy in Southeast Asia, sectors such as tourism, manufacturing, investment are under pressure in Malaysia. Vast majority of consumers, about 83%, have said that the economy now is under recession. According to the CCI survey of over half consumers are concerned about the economy, concerned about their business, and some for the employees about their job securities and health. Next. Last Hari Raya Aidilfitri, one of most celebrated festival in Malaysia, considered to be one of the most important festival in Malaysia, was different this year amid of the implementation of the MCO, the Movement Control Order. It has cut down the consumption. Half of the consumers preferred staying at home. Many say that they cut down on their spendings, such as automobiles, a drop of 24%, furnitures, 21%, phones, mobile phones, 20%. These are all impact of the COVID-19. Eating at home dominated more this year, with 43% consumers in favor of home feast instead of dining out and takeaway. This is a notable change in the festive season consumption pattern recorded over the year. Next. On the fast-moving consumer goods, consumers are switched to the brands, maybe due to drop of income, drop of paid. So most consumers, they have switched the brands to a more price-sensitive products. They have percentage here like household cleaners, 46%, body care, 44%, coffees, and so on. But online consumption, online sales has grew by 80% during the movement control order. You can see that the trend of purchasing has encouraged to go into e-platforms. This is why FMCG companies are now faced to the challenge to relook into their product portfolios, how they can repackaging their products to a more favorable selection by their customer. When the economy has declining, so goes with the inflation rate. The Focus Economics panel projects inflation to average about 0.2% for this year, 2020, and 1.7% for 2021. Next. Malaysia's August 2020 unemployment rate increased to 4.7% compared to the previous month. Nation estimated unemployed 741,600 people, as against to the labor force of 15.9 million people. Malaysia's population now is about 34 million people. So the statistics of unemployment is still well manageable. Malaysia government has suspended all new intake of foreign labours as a result to allow more locals to fill in the vacancies of the job. I'm not going to bore you with more statistics of the country. So today's forum is about printing industry. So I would like to share more of what you can see in our printing. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? And instead of me telling you, I would like to share some of the life experiences of our few successful printers here in Malaysia, how they cope with COVID-19, how they mitigate the impact. So we'll start. Next slide. For the year ending 2019, Malaysian printing industry has been growing moderately to the uncertainty of political change. This has also delayed many printing projects, mostly textbooks printing from the government to the local print shops. Following to that, COVID-19 pandemic has arrived to Malaysia around somewhere early this Chinese New Year 2020. Situation became critical and forced Malaysian government to declare movement control order on 18 March 2020. During the crisis, SFTCPPA has supported in donation for PPE, fighting the pandemic, and also helping many fellow printers to set up standard operating procedures, SOP, for COVID-19 prevention in order for them to operate during MCO. Packaging and label printing has been booming greatly during this COVID-19 pandemic due to high demand of medical products, especially for face masks and rubber gloves. COVID-19 pandemic has also created new norms lifestyle under the MCO movement control order, where people preferred to order takeaway, grab food, and dine at home. This has boosted up the demand for food packaging. Thus, this has created great opportunity also for online order, web online business, where food and goods online, as we've seen at the statistics, has boosted up to 80%, piling up through the sky. After moving from MCO 1.0 to Conditional Movement Order 2.0, many businesses are able to resume their operation, but those with high automation in their production line find it easier to restart their operation in just a flip of a switch, comparing to traditional operation that highly dependent on human labor finds it difficult to recall back their staff to work. Other common problems faced by our industry during MCO are like drastic drop of cancellation orders, unable to operate full capacity due to the restriction from the ministry, and cash flow problem. So now here is the life experiences that I promised you, how these few successful print owners, they overcome and foresee Malaysian industry through this COVID-19. One of our print owners here to share, Mr. Chua, Managing Director of UPA Press, specialist in offset and gravure printing. We find the business interruption is severely affected. Production is partially or totally shut down during the MCO. During the stage when printing industry is only allowed to operate at 50%, the workforce is involved. The SOP has created difficulties for the printing industry to mobilize the workforce. Customers have delayed placement of orders, which causes the deferred payments. Pandemic causes uncertainties of future businesses. So, how Mr. UPA have taken the steps to mitigate the impacts? In any crisis, there are threats and opportunities for any business. The conventional products and services will slow and diminish. Businessmen have to look into new opportunities to start selling online and offline combination. Diversification to essential products and developing new products which have the new market potential during and after the pandemic. These are some of the examples that we have seen. Some of our fellow printers, they have diversified in producing their own facial mask product and rubber gloves product, and also sanitizers. This is a one way of step. They diversify their business. The pandemic has fast-tracked moving toward the digitized era. The bigger impact will be the reading materials like newspaper, books, textbooks, magazines, and etc. At the same time, we observe the growth in the areas of paper box packaging, flexible packaging, digital publication, and e-media have a better growth in that sector. Thank you, Mr. Chua. Then we have the next sharing here is Mr. Chung Kok Wai, Viva Printing, specialized in offset and flexo printing. How they took the impact of COVID-19. COVID-19 has impacted the demand greatly. We have to grow our new market, develop new products to offset the drastic drop in the demand. But this can only reduce the impact. So what Viva Printing is finding, different sector of the industry from the customer base to cushion off drop of one sector of the customer with another sector gain, probably from labels offsetting the textbooks printing. How they mitigate during the COVID-19? By cost-cutting measures such as reducing overheads, capacities, investing in new technologies to improve efficiency, help them to mitigate the impact. And they foresee in near future, there will be major repositioning of the players and consolidation of the industry will take place. As the new norm will not encourage customer visit, conference and online business will have major growth potential. Yeah, we see more of our meetings going through Zoom, online, which is, we will have to face, this is the new norm of our working trend. Next, we have Madam Tan from Tiongtak Printing, specialized in packaging offset printing. To be precise, specialized in latex rubber glove box printing. So how they see the COVID-19 has impacted their business. Pandemic increases the overall production cost. Yes, although they print with a huge surge, high demand of rubber and latex gloves in Malaysia, the business are very good for them. But on the other hand, they have to face the overall increase of operation costs. With the increase of need for safety and health compliances as well, when government enforced movement control, they were lucky to be part of the supply chain and allow them to continue to operate. However, there are headcounts limit to comply, same as restricted by the ministry. How they mitigate the impact of the COVID-19? The biggest step is to ensure the safety and health of the employees by enforcing visitors restriction, schedule factory sanitization, investing in necessary PPE for the employees, educate them into keeping good hygiene and follow social distancing SOP at work. These are the certain measures that Tiongtak taken to ensure that all the staffs are able to operate at a good and healthy environment. How would they foresee the future of a new norm adaptation? Due to the lockdown happening in a global platform, there are new phenomenon which the industry ultimatum of pursuing globalization is evolving to be localization. Saying that think global, act local is more the current to represent times. During the pandemic lockdown, many businesses have to come to the revelation of the importance of having an online platform, which is true, remote access and cloud system to enable them to work from home. So these are some of the online and contactless business model, which is able for them to control their production line from home. Easier for them to ensure that the goods and the production is not interrupted. Next, we have another sharing experience from Mr. Ang, Initian Graphic Production, Sdn Bhd. Another example here is for event production and digital printing. For the digital printing side, they are also facing sharp drop of business, about 50 to 60%. This is because they specializes more into events, and because due to MCO, a lot of events has to be cancelled, so this has impacted them greatly. They are also trying to make online presence stronger in social media to offset the drop demand of the event. They're rolling out DTG shirt printing business, canvas home decor printing services. And how they foresee the future, traditional printing business will reduce tremendously, while online demand printing will be more popular due to the technology acceleration in communication sector. Packaging and label printing business will also accelerate faster than predicted. That's from Initian Graphic. Last we have here, which is also from digital and mailing printing, Mr. Alex He, Documentation Sdn Bhd. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of business already need to relook into their business model. If their business can survive in this new digital era, where everything is moving towards digital electronic, adding on the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of business had temporarily closed, largely due because of the reduction demand and employee health. However, there is always a silver lining in our printing industry, where business services selected by the market, like rubber gloves manufacturers, healthcare, courier delivery, food packaging, is doing extremely well during this challenging time. Documentation business in output management service, mostly on contract period with some essential services industries. This enable them to continue service for their customer during MCO period with strengthened safety SOP for staff, of course. We continue investing into our R&D to improve our services and product offering. Documentation foresee that general printing trend is declining. However, some digital printers will buck this trend by creating innovative products and services to offer to consumer market through convenient and impulse online purchases. Well, these are the few live examples that we can learn from them, how we can overcome this hardship of time. So we have faced trade war, US-China trade war. We are facing COVID-19 pandemic. I strongly believe that we will survive, we will consolidate, and we create new value. Let's all stay safe and good luck. This will be end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Chan. Thank you for your introduction on Malaysian economy and also the steps taken and how they survive, how they diversify by some of the Malaysian printers during this pandemic. Now let me invite Mr. IJT, the organizing chairman of Malaysian Print Awards 2021, to present a token of appreciation. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, IJ. Thank you. Now we have the next speaker from Philippines, Mr. Dominado Buhen, the Printing Technical Foundation and chairman of the Printing Industry Board Foundation. Mr. Buhen, over to you. Thank you.
At the outset, I would like to give expression of thanks to the host country, which is the Selangor and Federal Territory Chinese Printing Press Association, and likewise to the sponsor of the event in the person of GM of Sanzin International. I don't know whether to seek apology at the outset because of my health condition, but nevertheless, I try to come up with what is best under the circumstance. I will be able to present a very brief highlight of the situation in the Philippine setting. The economic outlook 2020 and other incentives. Based on the report of Reuters Manila dated October 14, 2020, the Philippine Central Bank said it has revised the 2020 balance of payment projections. The PCB, or the Philippine Central Bank, now expects a BO balance of payment surplus of 8.1 billion this year, or 2.2% of GDP, significantly higher than the May projection of $6 billion, or 2% of the gross domestic product. It sees a BEP of surplus of 3.4 billion, or 9% of GDP for next year. The Philippines' gross international reserves are expected to reach 100 billion by end 2020. Exports are still projected to contract 16% this year, but will likely to recover in 2021 with a 5% growth rate. Imports are seen declining by 20% this year, steeper than the previous forecast of an 18% drop. Despite the improved balance of payment outlook, however, the Bangko Sentral of the Philippines warned that uncertainty remains over the duration, direction, and extent of the pandemic impact on the economy. The Department of Finance, for government incentives, is proposing to give the President of the Philippines the power to grant tailored fixed incentives to investors under the Corporate Income Tax and Incentive Rationalization Act, or CITIRA, bill, which is still pending in the Senate. Manila, October 14, 2020. Below is a summary of the economic team's proposed amendments to Senate Committee Report number 50. The current Ways and Means Committee report on CITIRA, an immediate 5 percentage point cut in the corporate income tax rate starting July 2020. The corporate income tax rate will be reduced further for the next succeeding 5 years by 1%, maintaining up to 9 years the status quo for registered business activities enjoying the 5% tax on gross income earned GIE incentive. The sunset period is prolonged by 2 years, from 2 to 7 years to 4 to 9 years. More flexibility for the President to grant a combination of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, which will be critical as the country competes internationally for high-value investment. The accelerated reduction of CIT, or corporate income tax, also boosts the country's bid to attract multinational firms seeking to diversify their production chain. The larger production also brings the country closer to the ASEAN corporate income tax rate, which is averaged to be around 22%, and will boost cost competitiveness in doing business. Printing industry trend in the new normal. The current state of printing business under Philippine setting are as follows. Commercial printing demand now. In the time of COVID, our customers have dropped considerably. Almost 3,000 establishments have closed temporarily, and close to 200 have shut down permanently. We have 40 national dailies, both broadsheet and tabloids, but only 10 of these broadsheets and a dozen or so tabloids are being distributed in print. They are operating with a very skeletal staff, with a few editors in the office and writers working from home. Since March, or the lapse of 8 months already, more than half of the 60-member community press organization have stopped operating. On matters of education, the limited and qualified face-to-face learning modalities of state and private learning institutions have virtually squashed the manufacture of printed learning materials. New learning content was created for distribution nationwide to teachers for them to reproduce by mimeographing. Schools who have started their online productions, online instructions, use mainly online materials or have digital materials sent to them by their professors. Under non-educational printing, in the non-educational arena of publications, creative printers have sought the services of small digital printers, publishers, who publish any number of copies one wishes at a given time. The books are marketed online, receive payment online, and are sent to the buyer through a commercial delivery service. Packaging, as cited already by many of the speakers, has somehow improved. The demand for commercial printing, although considerably lower, has been in packaging and labeling business. As cited earlier, sellers of medical products have also tapped into the packaging and labeling business, a very important feature for the use and administering of items, prescription, and non-prescription drugs. Leading through trend digital transformation. Teaming up with digital media may be the norm, but the sensation of tactility will still be important. The way we print has also become digital, and the presses will be smaller and more efficient. 3D printing was also hailed as one that print and digital will continue to collide. Transfer from paper-based printing to electronic distribution or hosted brings us to digital medium, which the whole world has been relying on for the past 6 months. All our national dailies, while still printing on a limited basis, are counting on their online presence to reach a wider audience. Due to the digitalization of media, Many readers have shifted from print to electronic channels. Online advertisement has grown steadily. There is a huge upsurge in the number of subscribers of the two leading mobile service providers, indicating the popularity of the mobile platform for spending time. I am closing immediately. I'm concluding with my statement, and I would like to state that traditional media was seen still to be the reigning medium in the Philippines, with an eye towards the encroaching digital marketing. May we therefore seek uh, from each and every one of you as members of the ASEAN to share each other expertise for the betterment of our field, for more creativity and innovation. Let us share knowledge and help each other as what we are doing now to attain the knowledge necessary for our enterprise. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buhain. Now let me invite Mr. Peter Chan to present a token of appreciation. Thank you again, Mr. Buhain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I wish you good health, Mr. Buhain. Stay safe. Next, we have a speaker from Vietnam, Mr. Tony Ngor. Mr. Tony, you may proceed, Mr. Tony. Thank you. Mr. Tony, you may proceed.
Hello everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Nguyen Tuấn. I'm the Vice Chairman of Vietnam Speaking Association. Okay. Good afternoon. Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, Mr. Tony, you can proceed.
Good afternoon, everybody. Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Tony. Please proceed.
Hello. I am Ngô Anh Tuấn. I'm from Vietnam Speaking Association. Today, I'm going to present about the printing trend in the new normal and the digital transformation. Next slide, please. In the agenda, I begin by outlining Vietnam economic forecast and impact from COVID-19, and then I go on to highlight what we do to transform in the digital era. Finally, I'll show you our opportunities and challenges. First of all, here are some charts to describe briefly our economy at the present and impact from printing industry. Let's move on to the Vietnam economic forecast. Next, please. As you can see on the data sheet, Vietnam is one of the fastest growing countries in the world, and its economy has shown resilience to trade wars and neighboring China. This accelerated economic pace is due to labor shifting from agriculture to manufacturing and services. Exports have made a significant contribution to Vietnam's GDP and certain sectors, such as industrial production, textile, electronics, and seafood production. Inflation dropped from 3.5% in 2018 to 2.8% in this year and will be dropped more. Next slide, please. The GDP growth is more than 6% from 2014 to 2019 and got peaked at 7.1% in 2018. There was a small decrease in 6.8% in 2019 and unfortunately plummeted, dropping to 2.8% this year. It is estimated for GDP growth will pick up to 7% in next year. And at this point, I'd like to turn to GDP in this year in detail. In this chart, you can see the GDP labeled in number. The GDP growth is more than double over the past 10 years, from 115 billion in 2010 to 265 billion in this year. The GDP we expected to get 280 billion USD in 2021. However, this is dependent on the consequence of the pandemic and when it will be terminated. Vietnam international economic integrations have accelerated in various forms of the global economy and market. Vietnam has gradually opened its economy and market by establishing bilateral relations in trade, investment, and finance, and by participating in multilateral mechanisms in those areas. Up to now, Vietnam has become a member of all major international organizations. By 2020, Vietnam will take an important role in an economic connection network of 55 partners, in which 15 are members of G20. Next slide, please. Vietnam has an open economy and many free trade agreements which offer various development opportunities for the printing industries. Relating to FDI, foreign direct investment in Vietnam declined 3.2% from a year earlier to $13.8 billion in January-September this year. Additionally, FDI pledges, which indicate the size of future FDI disbursement, slumped nearly 90% in this year to nearly 21.2 billion. The manufacturing and the processing sectors is set to receive the largest amount of investment, followed by gas, water, electricity distribution. Nowadays, Singapore was the top source of FDI pledges in period, followed by South Korea and China. Next slide. I'd like to talk about the tremendous impact of COVID-19. Together with the development of the market economy, Vietnam printing also have increased both in quantity and quality. Although not too affected as some industry like tourism, airline, textile, the impact from the COVID-19 pandemic were also damaging, reducing the output of entire printing industry by no less than 10%. And as the earliest data, it should be 15% totally this year. Publishing and retail affected a lot since most bookstores had to be closed for many months. The volume of printed book, except for textbooks, declines significantly compared to the same period last year. Newspaper and magazine fell sharply. Many years ago, due to the competition of online newspaper and other media, printed newspaper and magazines has declined significantly. Now, the pandemic made the circulation decline further. Newsstands are closed 80 to 90%. Though there are no official, the press production volume have been dropped by 80% for revenue and profit. And many have decreased significantly. The label and packaging industry, which accounts for more than 2/3 of the total output of Vietnam printing industry, indirectly affect various types. Recently, the government do a lot of policy to support for the printing business and the business also. Include 30% tax reduction for the company with the total revenue below 200 billion Vietnam đồng. But the lowering of bank loan interest rate also does not help the business, because due to the pandemic, business do not dare to invest and are shrinking production scale. Next slide. Development of print industry in Vietnam. Moving to the second part of presentation, the digital transformation of Vietnam printing industry. Let's start with 4 milestones. It's believed that the printing industry in Vietnam started in 1986 when some government companies imported modern offset printing machine and film scanning. After that, CTP were a trend of modernization in Vietnam. Up until 1995, communication in print production were entirely walk, talk, and paper. Vietnam printing industry caught up with the regional printing in 2010 when FDI companies came and have their own standards, and Vietnam printing industry have to satisfy the requirement of FDI company. Up to now, under the pressure of FDI companies and the competitors from China, Vietnam have to apply modern business models and workflow to control the quality. So, talking about the digital transformation in Vietnam, that means we are on our first steps of integration, CTP, SIP4, JDF, and MIS. Next slide. During the entry level, Vietnam printing industry also consider the ongoing change in the global printing market as reference. In general, Vietnam printing industry is quite passive and still focus on local quality in order to save the cost. Color management and digital workflow need more time to apply, but it will be changed quickly in the next year. Next slide. Vietnam printing industry have been characterized by two factors. First, the combination of product and a service is a product-service hybrid. Secondly, optimized supply chains from production to distribution. Nowadays, printer offer just-in-time production by enable visual warehousing. The pandemic is a challenge and also an opportunity. Less printing job means the printing company have more time to improve their system with some keynotes. Begin to think about applying digital print for label and shotgun as a replacement of traditional method. Companies have more time to train their staff and apply the workflow. Apply color management, and finally, printers have to accept the shotgun with extra finishing steps with the comparative price. The printing company in Vietnam become more flexible and get accustomed to situation. Then the challenge becomes opportunity. However, in the digital age, it has become increasingly more common. They allow the opportunity to create more profit and increase customer loyalty while supplying increased customer value. Next slide, please. I'd like to show you digital printing chains and shifted offset printing chain. There are two main sectors now in printing industry of Vietnam. We know that in Asian country, for a long time ago, digital printings have booming and have been developing very well. However, digital printing in Vietnam is left behind. Pandemic is a chance for printer to practice digital printing in combination with the traditional. At present, more and more newcomer enters the printing market with toner-based and A3 digital printer. It will take at least 5 years for Vietnam to catch up with Asian country in digital printing. Regarding to the shifted chains, next slide please. Traditional printing business in Vietnam are moving into digital space and will continue to evolve to become part of the worldwide supply chain. Now, offset printing is still a dominant process and is accounted for 62% of total. Printing companies are trying to integrate new technology to reduce the price and increase productivity. It's clear that there is no increase for more job with UV ink and varnish. Also, the printing job become more completed with many processes and the combination of more materials. But the problem is standardization and the quality control. It has become an issue we need to solve. Next slide, please. To match the requirement of the customer, Printers are studying printing standard and communication with a number of Vietnam Printing Association. Vietnam Printing Association always appeal our member to focus on quality improvement and apply suitable methods in quality management. Regarding to opportunities and challenges, as the whale printing market hub is moving to Asia, Vietnam printing industry have new opportunities and has become a good choice for foreign investors. However, moving from quality for the local market to the global quality acceptance, Vietnam printing companies need to study for 3 years, from visual checking to inspection equipment and now to color source certification. The packaging and label printing segment is facing many challenges, including the ability to access foreign markets and product quality. Most producers of high-quality international standard products are foreign enterprises. For the first time, many small and medium companies, they try to reduce the cost to remain competitive. And they are finding that competing on the basis of cost alone is becoming a losing game. In response to increasing customer expectation for service and support, printers have to reassess their service and support to remain competitive and seize the new market. Integrate successfully into the global supply chain is a big challenge of Vietnam printing company. Sustainability and social responsibility have become more popular in Vietnam. Many Vietnam printing companies are focusing on sustainability and social responsibility to get the new standard in order to receive the new printing job. It could be said that technology and manpower development are the biggest challenge for the Vietnamese printing industry. Next slide, please. In conclusion, Vietnam printing industry is on its way to develop, and the pandemic is an opportunity to approach new technologies to increase productivity and transform to the digital era. To survive, the biggest issue for the printer is standardization. Finally, quality assurance is never ending task in production. If printing company in Vietnam can conquer the issue soon, Vietnam printing companies will be integrated successfully into the global market and play an important role in exporting section of Vietnam economy. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Tony Ngor. Before you leave, let me invite Mr. Peter Chan on stage to present you a certificate of appreciation. Thank you once again, Mr. Tony. Thank you. Stay safe. Next, we have speaker from Myanmar, Mr. Lin Ong. Mr. Lin, over to you. Thank you.
Yes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, loud
and clear. Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everybody. I'm Leon from Myanmar. I would like to present our country report, Myanmar country report. Next slide, please. So, Myanmar is one of the least developing countries in Southeast Asia. So, our printing industry is not so big, but let's say for the paper consumption, Myanmar is nowadays is 3 kg per person only, very, very low compared with other other ASEAN countries, we are very, very low. So what we believe that there will be a lot of potential in the printed. This is for the year 2019 and then the year 2020. Our revenue, it's only 174.08 million in US dollar. And then relations to GDP, it's only 0.19% only. This is not only the printing industry, this is for the offset printing industry performance for year 2019 to 2020. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is our import duties, the one who want to invest and then to import into the countries. This is the information for our custom duty. Custom duty is 3% on the printed materials for import from overseas. Its custom duty is 3% on the CIF value. Commercial tax is 5% on the landed price, and then advanced tax we need to pay 2% on after calculating for the custom duty and commercial tax. But for the ASEAN countries, China, Korea, and Japan can enjoy 0% custom duty because of the trade agreement. So ASEAN countries must submit the Form D, and then China, Korea, and Japan must submit the Form D, Form E. So export duties for the printed material, it's 0.0%, and then commercial tax is 0.0%. But we need to pay income tax for 2% on the FOB Yangon price. Next slide, please. So tax regulation, it's in the commercial tax shall be levied. In the other country is called GST. In our country calls commercial tax. Commercial tax shall be levied on the service performed under the system in which raw materials are provided and finished goods are taken. This will be exempted. Zero commercial tax will be levied on that. Commercial tax levy shall not be levied on the services consisting in the publishing of books, magazines, journals, and newspaper. 5% commercial tax fee shall be levied on the revenue from the remaining domestic services. For the company, income tax is 25% on the income tax shall be assessed on the total net profit before deducting the allowance under the Section 6 of the income tax law. Next slide, please. So we have, as I said before, Myanmar is ASEAN countries. We have a member of the ASEAN. Myanmar participated in all intra-ASEAN agreement as well as multilateral trade agreements with Australia, New Zealand, China, India, Japan, and South Korea. So for the ASEAN Free Trade Area, we participated in 1998, and then we object to eliminate all tariff for all tariff lines by 2020. But for the pandemic, we hope that it will be postponed another 2 years. That. And then we have a bilateral agreement: Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, China, South Korea, Laos, Malaysia, India, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and in the Asian region, as well as with a number of Eastern European countries also. Next slide, please. So this is the time we are facing very difficulty. 70% of the printing houses are closed for the time being because of the government restrictions, and then we must follow the Ministry of Health and Sport rules and regulations. So now is a very, very critical time for our print industry in Myanmar. But the government, what the support to us is, government, it's student textbook printing is in the past year is 50% is done by the government. This year they handed over 100% to the private sectors. And then government is doing the program for the business matching, printing and packaging program, also doing it. And then now government is initialized the economic zones and infrastructure development programs. When the COVID-19 pandemic started, Myanmar government started for the realign the industrial development vision together with the new normal life of our country. And then government is giving business loan to the printing and packaging sector. Interest rate is very, very minimum, 1% per annum. Our bank interest rate in our country is minimum 10% per annum. So the government is giving out loans with a very, very minimum interest rate. And then government is subsidized giving loans to the workers, printer workers, with a 2 months loan with a free interest rate also. So government supporting a lot on that. So what we are doing is we have an organization called Myanmar Publisher and Printer Association. It's an NGO organizations, and then it's also our association is also doing the printing trainings to the machine operators, mechanics, as well as designer, and then all these things. Print trainings we are providing to them, and then we are organizing the workshops for the printing and associated business development workshops are also doing it. And then we organize the exhibitions for the printers also. The most important thing what we are doing it is in the last year in the Thailand forum also we have I explained it about that because we have a shortage of the machine operators because of the new technologies are coming up. So we have challenges in this area. So now our association is advocating government to include printing curriculum in the government technical high schools. Next slide, please. So trends and challenges for the human resources in 2020. This is what I said earlier before also. We have a shortage of the skilled machine operators for the modernized machine. This is we are trying to resolve it. And then another problem with in our country, it's education level of the machine operators are very, very low. So they are not they are the high school, mostly are the high school people. So education level is slightly low. And then another big problem is the shortage of the skill mechanics. With the new modernized machine, we have a problem with the machine mechanic, both in the electrical and then the mechanical also. We have in our country is only known is the around 4 mechanics who can handle for this kind of the modernized machine. So this area is also we need to develop other skill mechanics also. And then additional what we are doing it is now is we cannot survive with the traditional method. So we must add into our services with the additional innovative services. So these will require the resources with the specific skill sets also. This is also our association and the government is trying to overcome these challenges. Anticipation is we provide a new technology training to the machine operators in Myanmar language. And then another thing is the inclusion of the printing curriculum in the government technical high school to produce qualified operators. Next slide, please. So current printing industry trend, this is all the ASEAN countries, what I have heard all these things also, but we are not the very modernized countries. So we are far a little bit left behind from the other ASEAN countries. For the print media is downward moving trend in our country. And then commercial printing is also shifted vinyl and gravure printing. And then customers are looking for the quality print. Now this is our quality, it's now becomes better and better because of the new machine. In the last year, starting from the last year, in the past, Nestle, Unilever, and the Colgate Palmolive, these multinational corporations are printed their packaging material in overseas, in Malaysia, in Vietnam, and then mostly in China. Now, starting from the last year, beginning of the last year, all the packaging printing job it's moved into the country. So there's a lot of growth in our industry, and then it's helped a lot to our printing industry family. And then from the growing printers sector is packaging material printing is growing rapidly. And then another area it's growing rapidly is the food packaging area. In the past, we are using the plastic bags for the food packaging. Now for the online shopping and then for the food delivery of the Panda, Grab, and then all these people are looking for the packaging in the paper packaging. Now for the paper packaging is also, food packaging is also growing rapidly. And then another area, it's as everybody's know about it also, printing is growing very fast in our country. Next slide, please. So what we are doing we cannot change all these and then all the printers cannot deploy the digital printing, and then all our customers are not afford to the digital print cost. So what we are doing is we are providing additional innovative services such as proofreading, translation, delivery, online order receiving, all these things we are adding into our additional innovative services to our current services. And then another thing is we are setting up a hybrid system for the small orders. We need to print with the digital printing. So now is trying to setting up a hybrid system, most of the printing houses. And then another area is we are expanding business spheres. We are not emphasized in the past, we are emphasized only on the one area. Something like for the book printers are printing books. And then for the label printers are printing labels. Now cannot survive in the one industry, one area only. So we expand our business spheres by food packaging, something like food packaging industry, high-end products packaging, high-end products labeling, and then all these things. We are changing, and then we are trying to survive in this industry. Next slide, please. So digital transformation, what we are doing is we cannot transform totally our machines to the digital machine due to the financial problems. And then most of our printers are the medium printers only. 80%, 20% or only 20% of the printers are the big printers, and then it's the corporate corporations, and then most of the 60% of the printers are the medium printers, and then around small quantity for the small scale printers are there. So in long term, print will be the digital communication. So all our association members met together, and then how to survive in our digital world, and then how to survive in this pandemic situation. So what we all agree on that is we must value added services we must be put into our current services, something like ad hoc print jobs, one stop services, etc. Another thing is the world is changing very fast, and then situation also changing fast, so we need to speed up our production as well as the processing speed also. This is what we are trying to do on it. And then another is offer multi-channel communication. We are not only not live in the print alone, so we must be on the digital mailing, social media posting, and then all these things we must be give services to our customer. And then another thing is we must set up the hybrid system. We cannot alone not stand alone on the traditional printing system. So set up the hybrid system. And then another thing is we must do change before it is forced to, because we cannot change everything at the same time. So what we can do it is when before forced to change, we must change before it. Next slide, please. So outlook for 2020-21 is a new modernized machine shall be deployed in most of the printing houses. Most printing houses shall deploy hybrid system. Due to the environmental issue, due to some of the rules and regulations, now manufacturers will gradually replace with the offset printing instead of the gravure printing, flexo printing. Digital printing business continue to be boom, and then web printing shall be declining. I think one slide is over. Can you go back to the COVID-19 and Myanmar slide? So the global COVID-19 pandemic, it's dealing a severe blow to Myanmar economy. Mostly for almost all the industries are affecting because of the COVID-19. The authorities are implemented strict containment measures well before the kids can't pick up, including travel restriction, closures of land borders, and bans on the mass public gatherings and etc. But our cases are growing every day. Up to today is nearly 50,000 positive COVID-19 patients are in our country already. And then we have in the next month, beginning of the November 8th, we have an election also. So we have a lot of COVID-19 effect on our industry as well as to the country also. But what all our people believe is that the country is also experienced recovering from the severe shock, such as Cyclone Nigris in 2018 and floods and landslides in 2015. What the government and then what the industry people believe it is, Myanmar economy can relaunch quickly after the COVID-19 pandemic, even though most of the SMEs are affected badly. Okay. Thank you very much. This is my presentation for the Myanmar. It's a brief about Myanmar print industry and then brief about our COVID-19 situation in Myanmar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lin, for your in-depth country report. Now, before you leave, let me invite Mr. Peter Chan on stage to present a token of appreciation. Thank you, Mr. Lin, once again. Stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Thank you, everybody, for my presentation.
The next, we have Mr. Soriti from Cambodia for his country report. Mr. Soriti, over to you. Thank you.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good morning, dear all friends and distinguished guests. My name is Socrates. Presently, I am president of the Cambodia Book Publisher Association and also chairman and Director General of the Publishing and Distribution House, Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport. I brought in the Publishing and Distribution House here as we also have a printing house there, and we are one of the main printing house in the country in terms of textbook printing. Can you move to the next slide, please? My content for today's presentation includes 1. Cambodia overview, 2. Cambodia economy outlook, 3. Present printing industry, and 4. Printing industry trends. Next, please. Let's have a look at Cambodia overview. Not much to say here. I'm sure that all of you know Cambodia. Here we are in the middle of Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. I just would like to show that our population is 15.3 million in 2009 census. So we are small compared with other in the Asian country. Of course, we are bigger than Laos, but still small compared with the others. Our official language is Khmer. But many people say Cambodian language. It's fine to say Cambodian language, no problem. Let's go to the next slide, please. Cambodia economy outlook. In the past 10 years, from 2010 to 2020, we have on average 7% economy growth, which is good for us, but by now it's not good anymore. It's the same as the situation in other countries. GDP in Cambodia in 2019 was 26.7 billion US dollar and estimated to have 27.0 billion US dollar in 2020. So more or less the same. GDP growth rate 7.1 in 2019, but estimated to have a negative growth at minus 2.8 in 2020, and at 6.9% in 2025. This is forecast by the International Monetary Fund. So in order to reach the growth of around 7% again, Cambodia will need about 5 years' time from now on. GDP per capita in 2019 was 1,269 US dollar, which is small. So we are less developed compared with many other countries in the Asian community. Our currency is Khmer Riel, but US dollar also commonly accepted in the market. No problem, you can pay with US dollar wherever you are in Cambodia. Next slide, please. Present printing industry. First, I mark it with red color here. It's about the bad sign of printing industry due to digital technology and COVID-19. Let me inform you a bit about COVID-19. Not much severe like in other countries, but we are also get very bad impact from this. In terms of infected people, by today we have 291 infected people and 283 have been recovered. So only 8 people hospitalized now, not so many. But and also we have 0 deaths. We don't have any people die of COVID-19 at all. This is because of our government have put up many good measures to protect and prevent outbreak of this COVID-19. Those measures include border restriction, school closed down, and some other, which is good for preventing COVID-19, but it can also affect on the daily businesses in Cambodia, especially for the local one, including the printing business as well. So what are the main point bad impact on printing industry? First, we would see that the demand for printing of newspaper, magazine, leaflet, etc. have dropped down almost to 0. As far as I know, there are only 1 or 2 newspaper printing now, and probably the same for magazine and the other similar one. The demand for book printing have also decreased. Since school have been closed down since March 20, so book demand also decrease at the same time. Sale of school textbook in market in 9 months of 2020 decreased 40%. We have this percentage clearly as publishing and distribution house is the only one business company that own the copyright of textbook. So we found out that it decreased 40%. Not many new book publishing company established. So if no more publisher, it would mean that no more increases of printing demand as well in terms of books. Some printing houses have bankrupted and closed or temporarily closed down now because of the COVID-19. Can you move to the next slide, please? Some other bad signs are here. Very difficult to have printing technician or engineer when printing machines are broken. We do not have many local technician or engineer. So when our machines are broken, we need to invite the foreign technician. And with border restriction, it's very difficult to do that. Everybody who come to Cambodia must be quarantined for 14 days before they can start working here. So it's difficult to invite them to Cambodia right now for this overseas technician. Prices of paper, printing material, and spare parts for printing machine have increased. Because both the restriction and some other problem in the logistic mechanism, all this material difficult to import, and the price have increased a bit. Printing skill training and development not feasible as we don't have the printing school or institute in Cambodia. We have only one small. If we would like to upgrade our printing worker to be in line with the requirement on operation of the modernized machine, it's very difficult now, difficult to send out as well, because many other countries are also having border restriction. One of the pity thing is that we have tried to build up Cambodia Book Fair for 7 years, and the number of participants increase satisfactorily every year. But this year, we don't think we are able to do that. Like in the other country, the gathering of many people like this would not be possible to do it in this year, and that is part of reducing the book printing demand. So some printers are not very happy with this. We do not have printing association yet. That's why we don't have clear data or information about printing industry, and we hope to be able to have the association and all the data needed to present to you all later on when we have the association. By now, we do not have any kind of specific assistance from the government for printing industry, since we don't have printing association, and we have just less than 100 printing houses, and most of them are very small. So printing industry is a very small part in the Cambodia economy, and the government have not yet have anything, and we ourselves have not yet go to government for assistance as well. Unless we have the association, we have all the printing houses gather together, and then we will be able to do that. By now, not yet possible to do it. Next slide, please. So apart from what I have said about the bad sign of printing industry, we still have some good signs as well. The first one is that the government still continue to purchase annual textbook for school, which is the biggest printing demand in the country. The government usually purchase about 5 to 6 million copy of textbook for school children, and that in Cambodia regarded as the big demand for the printing houses. School have been reopened step by step. From next month, from November, school will be reopened, which means that book demand, book needed by the school children will be there. So selling of textbook will be better and better from next month. Paper book are still needed because internet service in the country is not yet very strong, and e-book are not yet commonly used. Even in the library, we use paper book mostly, not e-book. So we are affected by the digital technology, but not as much as the other developed country like Singapore. I think still need the paper book. Packaging and labeling printing has increased. We don't have the official data, but we can see with our eyes that even the local product now been packed and labeled properly, and we don't know where those packaging and labeling are printed in Cambodia or imported from the neighbor like Thailand or Vietnam, probably imported, I would say. It seems to be less competition now because some printing houses are closed and now new establishment of the printing houses. So competition is not very bad now. Next slide, please. Let's see printing industry trend. Printing business seem not expanded as investing in others like real estate would be wiser. Hearing from many people, why do we need to invest in buying metal machine? Why don't we just buy land? And because here it's Cambodia is a developing country, so everywhere you go, you will see construction here and there, and the price of land is going up and up. So people probably not decided to invest in printing business because there are many other opportunity. Another problem is that young generation seem not interested in printing business. Even though they are born in the printing houses family, some of them seem to turn to other direction for their lifelong business, not continue the printing one. I have some friends who own the printing houses, and they told me like that. Demand for printing materials such as book and commercial paper decrease as digital one increase. Although it's not yet like the developed country, but we go on the same trend. Digital increase and the paper one decrease. Printing skill or job seem not attractive to young generation, since the business seem to be not expanded, and the youngsters seem to not very much attracted by this business as well. In the short term, we may not be able to receive any specific support from the government. I have listened to our friend from Myanmar. Lynn has mentioned a lot about assistance program from the government. We have not yet had it. We will try to negotiate with the government in order to get some support on the printing industry, especially when we are challenging a lot of problem during this hard time. Next slide, please. So these are all I would like to present to you about printing in Cambodia. So thank you very much for your attention. I wish you all be successful and hope to meet you all face to face next year, and wish that it's possible to do that. Thank you very much, and Chumrip Lia.
Thank you, Mr. Sorriti. I hope in no time, the print industry in Cambodia will get assistance and support from the government. Now, before you leave, let me invite Mr. Peter Chan on stage to present a token of appreciation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Chan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have the presentation by Mr. Kantong from Laos. Unfortunately, due to the flood emergency, Mr. Kantong is not able to join us today, so I'll present on his behalf. Next slide, please. Laos, officially the Laos People's Democratic Republic, is a socialist state and the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia. The capital city of Laos is Vientiane. The currency is lakh, and the population is only 7.1 million. The GDP for 2019 is 59 billion USD. Next slide. Now I'll talk about the Laos economic. Vientiane is the driving force behind economic change in Laos. In recent years, the city has experienced rapid economic growth from foreign investment. In 2011, the stock exchange opened with 2 listed company stocks with the cooperation of South Korea. Laos also have many good printing companies like Pankam Jampa Printing and Publishing Co. and also Sisava Printing Press in Vientiane. Next, as you can see from the slide, Laos COVID-19 infection rate is very, very low. Up to date, they only have less than 30 positive case. So Laos has many opportunities to grow, and we welcome all of you to come invest here. Thank you very much, and that's all for the Laos presentation. Now I would like to invite Mr. Peter Chan to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Kantong. Thank you, Mr. Kantong, and I hope stay safe and the flood emergency and the flood will subside as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Kantong, once again. Thank you. Next, we have the last speaker of the day from Singapore, Miss Josephine Loh. Miss Josephine, are you ready? Yes, over to you, Miss Josephine.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow country speakers and distinguished printers and viewers. I'm Josephine Loh, the newly elected president of Print and Media Association of Singapore. I'm the last speaker of today. Before I go on to all the speakers of today, thank you for your informative report that your country's insights, industry insights, and Malaysia's Print Association for providing their virtual platform. Today, I'm presenting the Singapore Print and Media Association of Singapore at this ASEAN Print Forum to share the industry insights of Singapore. So slide, can I have the next slide? Okay. As you can see, this is performance of Singapore printing industry. You can see that in 2016, 2017, and 2018, we have our number of manufacturers in Singapore, the printers in Singapore. But in 2019, we have yet to have data. These data are still not available at the point of publication. Next slide. As everybody knows, the COVID situation has affected everybody. We had a 2-month circuit breaker from April 7th to June the 2nd. Next one. The next slide. The next slide. The outlook of Singapore. Ministry of Trade and Industry has forecast that the GDP growth for this year will be from -7% to -5%, with the first quarter economy contracted 0.3% and the second quarter contracted by 13.2%. The circuit breaker measures affected almost all industries, and many businesses cannot operate at their workplace, especially the aerospace, tourism, hospitality industries who are badly affected without incoming international visitors. So for our MAS, which is the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the Singapore economy is expected to contract 5.8% in 2020. Slide 6. As you can see, our manufacturing output, can go to next slide. According to our Economic Development Board, in September, manufacturing output increased 10.1%, excluding medical manufacturing, where it is dipped by 1.6%. This transport engineering is not seeing any improvement as marine and offshore and aerospace are mired in the prolonged slump due to the weak global oil and gas market and travel restriction. So some of the segments within our manufacturing sector are expected to continue to perform, and some of them are affected by this pandemic. Singapore is benefiting from the pandemic-induced demand for semiconductors and pharmaceutical medical technology. Page 7, slide 7. Slide 7. The next slide, please. In summary, all sectors' performance has dropped significantly except for biomedical. Pharmaceutical output swell with higher output of active pharmaceutical ingredients and biological products, while the medical technology segment grew with higher export demand for medical instruments. The electronic sector also posted robust growth led by semiconductor segment, supported by demand of cloud services, data centers, and 5G markets. I'm having a bit of a delay, so may I know which slides are you in? As the COVID disrupted businesses and caused a lot of changes in our life, consumer behaviors, and our supply chain too. So this circuit breaker measures to contain the spread of COVID-19, which has accelerated to the need on reliance of digital technology. Digital transformation quickly becomes the lifeline of many businesses, irrespective of the technology. Growth is. Can I have the next? Digitization is no longer an option as quoted. It is essential to survival and success to become the normal conversation in our daily lives. Next page. Next slide, please. As digitization is no longer an option. As everybody is doing this, safe distancing, wearing of masks, and work from home. Business now, everybody goes online. Social media becomes so busy. People attending webinar and live streaming becomes a new norm to our lives. But because print industry is disrupted by the COVID situation, to stay sustainable in our business, some of our fellow print owners has went into food industry. Some even gone to mask making, and some took up social media platform. The next slide, please. Some has taken up social media platform to get connected with their customer and engage new customers. Next slide. Leading through change. Next slide, please. As quoted, Singapore government has actually taken up funding. Government has also offered fundings of up to 80% for businesses who are adopting digital programs. Next slide. Singapore government has been promoting businesses to undertake digital transformation since 2010, but businesses are taking it slowly until this COVID situation that accelerated the condition to reality overnight. So the government's funding from these respective agencies has also offered fundings of up to 80%. The next slide, please. Since 2010, the government has been encouraging businesses and small and medium-sized companies to undertake digital transformation in their businesses with the funding of 80% with all these agencies as below. Can I have the next page, the next slide? Last but not least, hope that you can gather together next year and have a nice day today. Thank you. I think that I am very intermittently dropped off because of the connection, I think. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Ms. Josephine. Please do not leave. Apologize for the technical issues we are having just now. But let me invite Mr. Peter Chan to present a token of appreciation. Mr. Peter. Thank you once again, Ms. Josephine. Thank you. Now, everyone, please stay put as the President, Mr. Peter Chan, would like to say a few words. Mr. Peter Chan, over to you.
Hello. Thank you, Madam Josephine. Apologize for a slight technical here. I believe it is not easy to get all 10 countries to synchronize for an online event. But for those who have missed or would like to watch our online forum again, it's always posted on our SFTC PPA Facebook. You may review back the part or the countries that you want to watch. We have seen many examples shared by our peer ASEAN countries on how the printing trend has behaved. And we know that textbooks, publications, print are impacted severely. But on the other hand, in Malaysia, we have seen packaging printers installing 5 or 6 die cutters, new presses, label printers, label printing print shops that have 10 to 12 colors press installed. These are the direction that why we have forum here to share to you, so that you can find solutions how to diversify and improve our operation, our print operation. So last but not least, I thank you all the country speakers, ASEAN country speakers, for sharing their wonderful and very informative presentation today. And also I would like to extend the credit to Anderson Group, our behind the scene team, Shelley and the team, for a wonderful, great job. So I bid everyone thank you and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Chan. Now, as our President has spoken, our forum has been recorded. So to those who have missed out the forum, you can go to SFTC PPA Facebook page to view the recorded videos. Also, you can leave your comments or inquiries on our Facebook page, and we'll try to revert as soon as possible. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for your precious time on joining us today, especially all the country leaders who have given their informative inputs on their respective country. Thank you, Mr. Chi and Mr. Eric from Sansing Prima in sponsoring this event. During these difficult times, I hope everyone would stay strong, stay hand in hand together to stop the virus from spreading. So, last but not least, I would like to thank once again to all the country speakers on your precious time today to share on your informative inputs and country reports. Thank you very much once again. We will see you next year. Stay safe and goodbye.
Okay.
Malaysia Print Award was initiated and organized by the Selangor and Regional Territory Chinese Printing Presses Association as a platform where print excellence is formally appreciated, recognized and applauded. We aim to bring the Malaysia Print Award to be benchmark of excellence for the print-related industry in Malaysia, accepted industry international for its professional integrity and print standards.
Nevertheless, let us adapt to these changes as we see as an opportunities for all. The industry is changing and is forever going to be better if we're able to secure our business model to the most efficient level. LGM has also announced that starting from 1st of June 2018, our GST will be zero rated. The migration back to SST will take some time, but allowing other business owners to claim back their input tax.
Hi, my name is Alan. I've been in the ad industry for the past 40 years, but today I think I've finally found my first love, a virtual live streaming platform. We have often been asked, how far can you take virtual live streaming? My answer would be as far as your imagination can take you. With today's technology, we are able to do things we couldn't yesterday. Let my production team demonstrate to you what can be done. Take it, Uncle.
Okay, thank you, boss. At the current situation of pandemic, online training is a go. Of course, we can have a fancy thing like this. And like this. Slow. And like this. Whatever you can imagine, and we can do it any way you want. Okay, wait. Hello, Habibi? Yeah. No, I'm working, I'm in the studio. Wait, someone is coming. I got to go, okay.
Can I move now?
Wait. Okay, you can come up. Okay, wait. You continue. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, I'm Shelley. I'm hands-on in the events industry for the past 15 years. Let me make use of this technology to make your dream launch, events, or a show a reality. We own a multi-purpose hall big enough for a car to be driven in. Making the best of a physical space and virtual streaming to bring you to the next level. To me, everything has a solution, no matter how complicated the situation is.
The music industry has changed in the past few months. The new normal has caused so much hardship, but don't worry. The new technology that we have developed can solve a lot of this problem. The solution, do it with virtual live streaming.
Reno, is there anything else a singer can do?
Yes, of course.
Internet no good. Okay, I go offline.
I have my own live streaming, catering for customers to shop online while being entertained. You are always welcome to watch my live streaming channel, The Shopping Station, 购物火车站.
Give us a call and let's have coffee and talk.
Meet a company who gets what your event marketing needs. We are ANOCENT. Any event, any purpose, our team knows everything you need for a smashing success. We always have a plan made just for you. And when it's crunch time, we walk the talk and make it happen. And on event day, the results speak for themselves. All the event solutions you could need, all in one company. We should know, we've been at it for over 10 years. Starting with music and growing to master events of all kinds. Put the event of your dreams in our hands and watch the magic happen when we bring it to life, so that it looks and sounds like a dream come true. Events, commercials, we do it all and make it brilliant. We are ANOCENT. We get events and we get you.